Hello everyone and welcome to iCatholic. My name is Bill Kemmy, standing in for Wendy Grace today. We're delighted to be joined here in Maynooth by Cardinal Mario Grech, who people will know has the immense responsibility of shepherding, under Pope Francis, shepherding the Synod on Synodality, which is this great conversation in the spirit that's happening across the Church these last few years and is still ongoing, looking at communion, participation, mission. So, Cardinal, we're very grateful for your time today. I know you're going to be on the road to Knox soon. Let's start maybe with, before we get into the workings of the Synod, maybe the spiritual side of it and the conversations in the spirit. There's a lovely line in the report from last October where it says, the Church involves a dynamism of communion and mission that moves us from the I to the we and puts us at the service of the world. How does that is that a good expression for your own journey of the last few years and what you've witnessed as a participant in the process?
I think that it cannot be otherwise. The Holy Father very often says that this synodal process is a process of conversion. And before we talk about structures, we need to reflect on our own conversion. And I am one of them. I am also involved in this conversion process. I must say that even when I was a bishop, I already felt the need and the importance of being together. I remember when I was made bishop, almost 20 years ago, I wanted to write my first pastoral letter to my church about the church, inspired by an encyclical of Saint Pope Paul VI, Ecclesiam Suam, because in that encyclical Paul speaks about the church in continuous dialogue, internal and external. I never managed to write this pastoral letter. And surprisingly, I found myself, Pope Francis called me to be at this office, the General Secretary for the Synod. And in few words, this is a mission to help the Church to be in dialogue. So what I did not write on paper, I'm trying to fulfill today.
Would you have witnessed over these years the we getting stronger in the Church? It's not just what I think, individuals, that we're beginning to come to a deeper union or consensus.
It is a matter of life. I'm in a world where individualism is so strong, even in us, even amongst us in the Church. We need to be more Christ-like, because Jesus was all the time engaged in dialogue with the people. And we need also, if we want to fulfill our mission, to be one not as me, I, but one as we. And I must say, yes, in these 2 years throughout this process, having contacts with various local churches, I thank the Lord that this process is on. And it is resulting that it is very beneficial. Bishops, clergy, and even the people of God all together, recognize how important it is that we are together. Because in the past we used to insist on individual discernment. Nowadays, also in this synodal process, we are becoming more aware of the importance of an ecclesial discernment, a communal discernment. And an ecclesial discernment is carried out together, obviously, with respect to charisms, vocations, and ministries.
Just in terms of the workings of the Synod, I sometimes think that the Synod is nearly a victim of its own success, that the listening exercise was so well responded to, that so much has been surfaced, and in some ways everything is nearly on the table, the whole spread of church life, church teaching. How difficult has it been in the process to try and keep the focus on trying to arrive at a vision for synodality or a synodal church and not get swamped by all the issues? How was the process managed that?
So, before the assembly of the Synod of Bishops started, something told me, I felt that there was this danger. I mean, reading and the reports that arise from bishops' conferences, it was obvious that this was a moment of grace for the people of God. And so they had the possibility, the opportunity to be listened to. And so they shared everything with their pastors. But the theme of this particular synod was well spelled from day one: for a synodal church, communion, participation, and mission. So my fear was that we might also not answer to the questions that people raised or are raising, because as you underlined, they were very, very, very wide. So the first session of this Synod for Bishops, we let everybody share whatever he wanted to share. Then now, for the next assembly, we sent me, and together with Cardinal Ulrich, the general relator for the Synod, we sent out a note to all. Please take note that the theme for next assembly session is how the church needs to become more synodal for a mission. We have to focus now. I mean, there was the first session, but now please let us focus, because this is an opportunity which we cannot miss. This does not mean that the questions raised in the first session are discarded, neglected. No. So much so that the Holy Father recently has selected 10 particular themes raised in the synthesis report, and entrusted these 10 themes, which are not strictly speaking synodal, but has to do with the church life, and entrusted these 10 particular themes to 10 study groups made by members from various dicasteries in Rome, pastors from all the world, and also experts. And these groups are expected to hand over to the Holy Father in May 25 the results of their finding. These are already the fruits. But now, hopefully, next October, our reflection, our prayer will center on synodality.
Just finally, Cardinal, and again, thank you for your time. Not to preempt things, but we have October, the assembly. What are your hopes for where this leads to, or what should follow on after the gathering in October?
So hopefully this synodal process, which is wider than the assembly for the Synod of Bishops, because this is something new. This was and is a synod for the whole church, obviously with different stages. Hopefully this will lead us to get to know better what is the will of God for the church today. A church entrusted with a mission. And hopefully, mission will be not only the task of selected few, but of all the baptized, always respecting charisms and ministries. But nowadays, I personally feel that we need a missionary movement in the church, even in those countries like yours and like mine. I come from Malta, who have a very Catholic tradition. No, we need a missionary movement to announce Jesus in a language understood by today's society, because people are thirsty. And the church is here also to help them to overcome the difficulty, to find an answer for the questions, the existential questions that they have. Hopefully, after the Synod, the church will become more forceful as a people of God and trusted with a mission.
Well, thanks very much for that summary, Cardinal, and appreciate your time, and safe travels to Knox. So thanks for joining us today on iCatholic.
Thank you.